What? Is the race over yet? So, I just got done watching what was this race called? The Blue Emu Maximum Relief 400. And I certainly need some maximum relief because, man, I mean, definitely worst race of the season, or at least one that was the biggest letdown. I'd say Phoenix and Richmond were they look just like how they did in the old gen cars. A little bit more tire wear at Richmond. Phoenix, not really much difference. The other four tracks of this year, great improvements. Martinsville, especially considering how it was building from the fight in the trucks on Thursday night, or the at least argument on Thursday night after the trucks, then the actual fist fight last night, which I mean, Ty Gibbs, I like the guy, but I'm disappointed that he didn't take his helmet off before the fight. I mean, like, dude, give the other guy a fair chance to hit you back if you're gonna make the first swing. But yeah, so those two races, the way they led up, the wreck fest that was the end of the Xfinity race, and then we had the Cup race. I think we had what, two natural yellows. One was for um debris, and one was for one was debris off of Hamlin's car, and the other was Todd Gilliland going into the wall. Neither one really needed a yellow, but considering the way the race was going, we needed a yellow. So yeah, we had a total of 5 lead changes, all of which occurred between the actions of going on it and coming off pit road. And in back through the first two stages, we had 0. Chase Elliott led the first 2 stages uncontested. Won the race off pit road at the end of stage 1, led the entire stage 2. Looked like he was very easily going to go on to a win until he lost that ever crucial first starting position, and from there he just drifted back and ultimately finished. Okay, he finished 10th. Still kind of a letdown from where he was leading the first 180 laps uncontested. But then it was pretty much the William Byron show the whole rest of the way. William Byron was the guy that got the lead at the end off pit road under caution with the stage 3 beginning, and he basically just had control of the field because of that ever crucial track position. Didn't matter who was up there challenging him, whether it was at first Elliott, where okay, the teammates were gonna play nice, then Elliott eventually lost second to Logano. Logano couldn't really put much of a run on Byron to go and challenge him. Nobody else really had much of a chance. Dillon got a shot at him, but when that caution came out that sent us to overtime, he ended up spinning his tires, and ultimately he finished. Where did Austin Dillon finish? Like third. So he finished very well. He's gonna have a great points day, but certainly not the day that Austin Dillon was looking for when he had a shot at the win. I mean, he was looking for victory lane at that point. So yeah, I think most of what is to blame for this race is the fact that it was a cold. There was snow before the race. It was not like the track temperature was very low, along with the ambient temperature. I mean, even with the fast race cars, you probably had a track temperature that was like 40, maybe 50 degrees. And that is not conducive for putting down rubber, making a second lane available. And really, it is somewhat off pattern for the second week of April to be that cold for Martinsville. Even for a night race, I mean, maybe it would be a little bit cold, but again, I think the weather and the rain and snow mix that we had before the race, plus the overall really cold temperature, only exacerbated the fact that it was cold. And yeah, it was a no other way to really sugarcoat it. It was a bad race. I mean, and I don't just watch for the yellows and stuff, but it felt like throughout the entire race, the only way you were going to be able to pass the leader, and it never happened, by the way. We had 0 on track passes to the lead. The only swapping back and forth of the lead was when when Byron came off pit road ahead of Elliott, and then they cycled who was the leader a little bit while had our cycle of green flag pit stops. Ultimately handing it back to Byron for lead change number 5, and that ended the race. So, yeah, I mean, again, it would have been nice to at least feel like there was any chance that somebody was going to. I mean, I was even kind of rooting for it at the end for someone to go a little heavy on the bump and run to try and at least make it feel like something was going to happen, but ultimately, again, nothing ever came of it. William Byron went on to collect his second win of the season. Definitely good for Byron. Looking forward to hopefully seeing him having a breakout year. Honestly, though, the F1 race in about 30 minutes is probably going to be a big improvement. Looking forward to watching that. But yeah, good thing about it being a night race is that it pretty well set up NASCAR fans to finish watching this race, and for those of us interested, to stay up and watch Formula One. I also watched the Long Beach Grand Prix for the sports cars, and even that was more exciting than the NASCAR race. Just in terms of you had a battle for the win, even though you kind of knew who was going to win before the checkered flag ultimately came out. So, trying to think of anything else notable that happened. I mean, good points day for Ross Chastain. Good points day for Kurt Busch, Kurt and Kyle Busch actually both getting top tens. Again, Toyota kind of struggling. The Toyota drivers, Truex and Hamlin, didn't seem overly confident when they spoke to those two in pre-race during the rain delay to start the race. Briscoe and Almirola made the SHR Fords at least somewhat relevant. Again, I mean, like with all these finishing positions, a lot of them, it's like most of them just there was very little bits of passing in and around, and honestly, the only part that was overly interesting at all was pretty much how how Elliott versus Byron would battle in and around the lap traffic. Chase Elliott trying to put a lap car or two between himself and Byron. Byron having to then try and work his way around the same lap traffic. And yeah, ultimately, again, it didn't lead to a whole lot of very much because of the late yellows. The late yellow kind of eliminating the position for the lap traffic. So we also had 35 of the 36 cars that ultimately finished the race. BJ McLeod fell out early in the race with some kind of part breaking. So bummer for him, but yeah, that was just basically a battle about trying to stay on the lead lap for some of the guys having lesser days, and ultimately, again, nobody could really pass, which really made it hard to believe that even if they were able to fight back onto the lead lap, or if they got the free pass, they were going to be back a lap down pretty quick, just because you can't. It's so hard to make passes happen, especially if you restart on the outside lane. It's like just such a long-winded race. And it really wasn't all that long. I mean, it was actually a fairly short race. They did chop 100 laps off this one, which, in hindsight being 2020, yeah, definitely a better race. The fact that we didn't have to sit through another 100 laps of Byron pulling away from the field. But yeah, so yeah, that's basically everything to do with the race. Brad Keselowski's and RFK's penalty was upheld. It sounds like they were trying to fix a rear panel, at least according to what Keselowski says. They were trying to fix a rear tail panel, and in doing so, I guess they broke the no modifying the next gen parts, even though they were just trying to fix it to reuse it. I guess it's the first. I guess you can say it's the first technical part shortage related issue for the next gen car. But yeah, um, starting tomorrow, I start packing for Bristol Dirt, and here's hoping for warm weather and some better racing. So far, from what they've shown of like Stuart Friesen doing some practice laps at Bristol Dirt just to see how the next gen car handles. It looks a whole lot racier. I'm certainly excited to see how it looks as a night race. I'll be bringing you guys along with it for as much as I can film. We'll see what all we can see, but yeah. For the most part, though, again, Martinsville, it sets high standards, especially when you had a an exciting bump and run for what was an attempt to try and get the $100,000 dash for cash from Sam Mayer, leading to the fight post race, like stuff like that. It built a lot of hype, and then just the fact that absolutely nothing happened really. It was more of a letdown than anything else, but yeah. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Wish I could be a little bit more positive about the race, but looking forward to Bristol Dirt and Talladega in the next 2 weeks. So 2 good races to look forward to upcoming. And I will see you guys down in Bristol in a few days. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next video, live stream, whatever you guys had to do with the rest of your day. Have a great day, everybody, and goodbye!